Today we're adding fish to the pan. The pan? The pond? The pond. We're adding fish to the pond, not the pan. The fish we're adding are in this tank right here. These fish are called platies. They're red little fish. They come in multiple colors. And the reason I'm adding these fish are because they're not doing well in this tank. This is a 10-gallon tank, so it goes all the way back here. But why aren't the fish doing well? A 10-gallon tank is really hard to measure and maintain the parameters, and it just has led to sickness and other things for these fish since I've moved them in here. And sometimes the water change system doesn't work too well all the way at the end compared to all the tanks over there. They've been sick, not doing well, and just kind of moping around. I have tried numerous different medications and treatment things to finally get these guys in a much better shape, which makes me really hopeful to add them to the pond. These guys are finally doing a lot better, and I think they're gonna be much happier in the pond. The pond is much bigger, has a lot more space, and the pond is perfect for these guys because they can handle cooler weather. I've actually had these fish for quite a while and was breeding them quite a bit, but now I think they're gonna do great in the pond because of their bright red orange color, and they should be really easy to see. Then you might be wondering, what am I gonna do with this tank? Well, it's actually gonna move. Well, not necessarily. So all these tanks I've been trying to get empty because I want all this space to be for another 40-gallon breeder. So all these fish are gonna be moving, and this is just one of the first tanks to start that. And I really wanna quarantine the plants and things and just reset this tank overall. And you might be wondering what fish I'm gonna put in this tank then, since it's gonna be empty. Nothing. It's gonna become a quarantine tank. And if you don't know what a quarantine tank is, that's a tank where you put all your new fish into, or sick fish, so that they don't get sick or spread any diseases to any of your other fish. This is extremely important when you're having fish because then you can treat them separately, it's less costly, and you can just make sure they're doing well before adding them to a tank like this. So for example, I have these guys quarantining and being treated and make sure they're doing all well and eating before they're gonna go into the big nice discus tank. This just helps prevent any future losses or issues with any of your other tanks, and to make sure that the fish are in good condition before you add them to your main display tanks. But before we can add these platies to the pond, we have to make sure we put a heater in the pond. It's been getting quite cold outside in Florida. I wanna make sure that the pond has a heater that's set to at least 60. So if the temperature drops, the fish will be okay, because I've seen other breeders like on Aquarium Co-op that have done it in their ponds, and it's just to make sure that the fish and the temperature don't drop too low that they can't handle. So my battery died, so it's a new day, but we're outside with the pond. And I'm gonna definitely move around some of that duckweed because that's also an issue. I thought the goldfish would eat it by now, but all right, I also want to check the temperature of the pond just to make sure.
We're sitting at roughly 60 degrees.
I really want to see if the other fish in the pond are doing okay at these temperatures and see if they'll be good for the new fish. Okay, good news. The fish are in the pond still. I wasn't worried that the fish wouldn't be in the pond, but I was worried how well they were going to be doing in it. All right, I've moved a lot of the duckweed. I think I've caught some fish on accident, so I don't want to dump this out. You guys can see the guppies that I had added a while back in there. Look at how beautiful that male's doing. You can also see the Daniel swimming by. The Daniel's definitely more hardy than the guppies, and the platies also can tolerate cold as well. But look at, there's a male there, there's a female back there. So they all look to be doing pretty well. But that makes me really excited because I was worried that the fish I added last time would not do well in this cold weather and in the pond all right. But they're doing pretty good. If you don't know, this is the pond that I have outside my fish room. And in here we have some goldfish, Daniels, and now guppies. And we're gonna be adding platies too. So now let me get a heater and a little bubbler and we can add it to the pond. Then we can catch those platies out and add them in. All right, I got the heater. This heater actually can't go to those low of temps. So we're not gonna add the bubbler so that the water doesn't mix too hard and this doesn't keep turning on and just burning out the heater. My biggest concern was that this pond didn't get enough sunlight. Without enough sunlight, the pond's not warming up during the day. However, the pond is in the ground, so that would also keep the temperature stable. And the fish are doing well despite the temperatures dropping in Florida quite a bit. But I'm still gonna be adding a heater and plugging it in right here. I would really like to get some of this duckweed out, but the fish swim so close to the top of the water that it might be really hard not to catch them on accident. Normally the goldfish eat all this duckweed, but because their metabolisms are slowed down from the colder water, they're not eating as much. Now I'm gonna dump this out and just kind of look through it and make sure there's no little fish in it. Oh, there is a fish. Oh, little fishy. I'll put you back in the water. Okay, come here. There he goes. He's so tiny. That's what I was worried about. That's why I don't want to scoop out this duckweed. Go. Let's look through the rest of this. Now that I think about it, it's probably best to leave the duckweed. One, the duckweed, I don't want to catch any baby fish on accident and scoop them out and have to sort through all that duckweed. But two, I think the duckweed is helping provide like a layer of insulation for the temperature because there's no air or wind that can blow across the top of the water to cool it down even further. Now it's time to catch those platies and get them in this pond. It's time, Mr. Platies, to go to your new home. Look at all of them, they're ready. You guys are gonna look great in the pond, easy to see. Time to catch them. You can see all of them here. There's some babies that they had that were growing up. I found them hiding. Look how tiny he is compared to like the bigger ones. The baby one should just adjust just fine. There are actually some shrimp in this tank that will go ahead and live in my 40-gallon with all their other little orange shrimp. And hopefully they'll make a whole little orange shrimp family. So I'm gonna acclimate them like I acclimate any other fish. And what I do with my method is I'll have them in a bag with water. So every 10 or 15 minutes, I'll add water from the pond, let's say, or tank, and pour it into the bag, and do that like 2 to 3 times until they're fully adjusted to the pond water that they're going into, or tank water, and the temperature is about the same, and then the water conditions are about the same in the bag and pond. Then I'll go ahead and release them. The fish should have adjusted properly to the new water so that they aren't too shocked or stressed. This is how I do it. There's a bunch of different methods online. Now we got the fish in this bag, we're gonna go ahead and put them in the pond. The heater is on that side of the pond where the warmer water will be. We'll see how well that does, not too worried, but we're gonna add them into the pond. All right, let's get them right into here. And this is just gonna float in here until they get adjusted to the temperature. And then I'm gonna be adding water as well, like I said. Now we're gonna give them about 10-15 minutes, and then I'll just keep adding water. Then I'm gonna show you guys me releasing them into the pond. While we're waiting for those platies to adjust, why don't you go ahead and like and subscribe down below. All right, it's been like 45 minutes or an hour now, but it's time to finally release those fish into the pond, or the pan. The pond. I'm not funny. Okay, I'm slowly stepping on all my plants. Hopefully I don't step underneath. Okay, definitely step on that one. It's fine, it's fine. It's for the video. I'm just gonna release them in the water into the pond. It's just much easier that way. Time to release them. Here you guys go. Are they there? Oh, they're coming out now. There they go. Go, little fishies. Awesome. Okay, there's some right there swimming against the wall. Oh, there's the other fish coming to say hi in the little porthole. It's really hard for you guys to see with the reflection, but there's like guppies swimming around. There's another platy that actually escaped through my water change system. There's a goldfish just chilling. He swam back underneath. He's gotten quite big. So we're gonna let them get comfortable, enjoy the pond. Then when it warms up, we'll be able to see them breeding and just swimming around the pond, and that duckweed will finally be gone. If you enjoyed watching this video, make sure to watch this one too. I know you'll love it. Have a great day.